June 6th, 1944, and just before Operation Overlord starts, a squad of paratroopers and an explosives expert drop into a small French village to destroy a radio tower. But upon investigation, it turns out there's something more sinister going on underneath the church where the Nazis have set up their radio tower. After a brief introduction to the main characters, the film opens proper with a chaotic drop sequence that's explosive and visceral. The characters are parachuting behind enemy lines, under heavy fire, and they get separated from each other. The film quickly establishes itself as one in which death is cheap and will come to you quickly and quietly. It's also very gory, and that's pretty clear right from the off. After meeting up with the rest of the characters, nominal protagonist Boyce runs into a young French woman from this nearby village, and they all go and basically hide out in her house. A sizable chunk of the film's runtime takes place there. There's a number of good sequences during this, notably an Inglourious Basterds style hiding out in the attic moment, which is a real nail-biter as the little brother of the young French woman whose house they're staying in accidentally drops a baseball on the floorboards of the attic they're all hiding in. Ooh, what's gonna happen next? Likewise, the sequence where Boyce infiltrates the secret Nazi lab and discovers their heinous experiments and what they're getting up to is done with the right amount of spook house gore to be sort of like exciting to watch, but also with enough restraint for it to be tense and scary. The film does a good punt of mixing the war and horror genres together, something that's not done that commonly, although it is kind of cool when it does happen. Dog Soldiers is a good example. Another one, slightly less good and certainly less notable, would be Zone Troopers, which is an 80s movie about GIs who discover some aliens. But when you're combining not only horror and war tropes, but also those wacky Nazis tropes, you're going to be treading on really familiar territory. And I think a lot of this film will be quite recognizable to anyone who's played Wolfenstein, Call of Duty Zombies, or engaged with Hellboy or BPRD in any way. When I heard that the premise of the film contained evil Nazis and their evil experiments, there was a number of things which I thought would be in the movie. I had a kind of bingo card prepared for my screening. So let me tell you how many of them showed up. Cultured but sadistic SS officer, check. Herr Doctor wearing tiny round glasses, check. They have been given purpose. For once in their lives, they will have value. Evil Nazi speech about eugenics, check. Corrupting ancient magic for their war efforts, check. Good guys using the Nazi stuff against the Nazis, check. So yeah, it's a little bit B-movie and not always in a good way. There's a lot of spurious sneaking, where people are sneaking around in a way where they definitely should have been caught. And there's also a couple of times where they're screaming and shouting and shooting at people inside the attic in a little French house when there's lots of soldiers outside who, for some magical reason, don't hear them. But that's okay. A trope doesn't have to be a cliche, and sometimes it can actually be quite satisfying to see tropes be played out. In particular, the third act of the film is really heavily telegraphed. I think pretty much most viewers watching it will know roughly what's going to happen, but that doesn't stop it from being satisfying as hell to watch it actually pan out, right? And I think if the film has any major gift, it's that it knows what its audience wants and it delivers it in spades. It's a bit spooky, the right people get punched, there's a lot of explosions, and someone gets their head bashed in. It's all the stuff that you want from a movie that's about evil Nazis and the good GIs who beat them up. It even has like a special rap track played over the end credits, which I just adore. Like, I think that's so much fun, and I kind of miss that from movies. I miss that from like the Will Smith era of action blockbusters, Is the film predictable? Will I forget most of the details in 2 weeks? Well, yeah, yes to that. Yes to all of that. But is it fun? Did it make me laugh? Did I have a good time watching it? Did the audience I watched it with have a good time? Yes to all of that too. In the end, Overlord is a B-movie with a B-plus budget that's deliciously self-contained and cathartically bloody in a world of PG-13 cinematic universes. And that, to be honest, made it worth the price of admission for me. As ever, I'd love to find out what you thought of this movie in the comments below, so do let me know. That's it from me. Bye for now.